Hello my friends, welcome to another video. It is April, and you know what that means. It's magical readathon time. I am so excited to participate in this readathon every single year. This is an RPG style, like Dungeons and Dragons. You create your own character, and this character goes to university and has to read books that fulfill prompts in order to gain their university degree. So this is my third year participating, and I have a couple other videos from last year showing my TBR and the whole kind of explanation for how the prompts are structured. So I will link those two videos and also the original explanation video from G at Book Roast. This is her whole creation, and she's been doing this for many, many years now, and it's amazing. It's a huge community, and would love to have some new recruits joining the challenges this year. It's never too late to join. So for the past 3 years, I have chosen the calling of mind mender, which is very similar to psychology in real life, which is what I'm already studying. So I found this to be fitting, though this year I kind of do want to do another calling and find another degree, but I'm not sure if I'll be able to do that. Pretty much you have to go through 4 years of doing the same degree in order to graduate and get the, certificate or your diploma. And so this is my third year participating as a mind mender, and so I will continue and do those prompts for April. Though if I can, I would also really, really like to add the calling of Rift Architect. I've always been really drawn to it, but this is a bit more difficult, and it would add like 3 more books to my TBR for this season. So I'm not entirely sure if I can do it. So I will mostly focus on the Mindmender prompts, and if I can, I will select the books for the extra prompts for the Rift Architect. But if I can't make it to that, no stress. It's fine. I'll do it maybe next year. I've been thinking and trying to plan this for such a long time because some of the prompts are really broad that I'm really not sure what to choose for them. So I might kind of add another element to this and pick some of my prompts, or I also have all of the titles of the books that I physically own in here in case I want to kind of randomly generate a title. So we'll see. Without further ado, let's get into seeing what the prompts are. So for the Mindbender Spring Equinox, the first class that I have to pass is Alchemy. The course focus is volume magnification, and the reading prompt is all capitals book title. And pretty much all of the books I have have capitals in their titles, except for The Faithful and the Fallen. Pretty much all of them. So this really doesn't narrow it down for me. So I think I kind of want to use this to pick another prompt, like for my own prompt jar, and see what comes up from there, and maybe have some options from that. So I'm going to do that. I added some new ones like yesterday. I don't know if I'll get any of them. Okay, what is this thing? Oh, Monster High pick again. Nice. So this came up in I think this came up in last year's April TBR as well. That's crazy. Okay, I'm really excited about this Monster High one. So I have a wheel here. I found 2 wheels. This one is just the girls. I don't know if this one has any of the guys on it, but this one has more options. So I'm gonna go with this one. Okay. Lorna McNessie. Oh God, is this like the Loch Ness Monster? Okay, yes, I was right. This is the Monster High manifestation of the Loch Ness Monster. Okay, so she used to live happily in an underwater castle alongside her father, the Loch Ness Monster, but her love of photography compromised her family's safety. She's a cryptid. I'm not sure if I have anything that would be related to this theme. Let me check. Okay, so I do have 4 options for sea-themed stories. We have Sea Fire by Natalie C. Parker. This is about a group of all-female pirate crew who are taking revenge against another crew who killed the main character's parents and kidnapped her brother. So this is a start to a trilogy. We have Dark Shores, another start to a trilogy, and this is like a fantasy romance, I believe, about a pirate, a soldier, and a dangerous quest. Not really sure. This is also very similar, I believe, All the Stars and Teeth by Adeline Grace, about a princess who has been training to be a master of souls, and then there is new magic that threatens the kingdom or something. And then the last option is The Mermaid of Black Conch, and I believe this is about a mermaid that ends up falling in love with a fisherman. But she is caught by tourists and is in danger. These do all fit the prompt of having capital letters in all of their titles, so I'm not entirely sure which one I want to go for. I've like read a part of this before. I've gotten a few chapters into it before and it was really interesting. It was really good. So I think I might be leaning towards this, but I think I'll set this aside for now and then come back at the end and decide what I want to do, also based off the other books that I want to choose. So we'll see about that. The next prompt for the Mind Mender is spells and incantations. The course focus is a copy paste spell, and the prompt is a word from your last book title. So this one was really exciting because the last book was The Dark Forest by Cixin Liu. I just finished it this morning, and holy shit. Oh, I have thoughts about this. But anyways, I have 4 options for titles that have the word dark in it. So let me get those. So once again, we have Dark Shores by Daniel L. Jensen. I never hear anybody talking about this series. Everyone only talks about her Bridge Kingdom series, and I see nothing about this one. But this intrigues me much more than Bridge Kingdom. Anyways, so this I could choose and possibly double up on the prompt depending on the ambitiousness of my TBR and my time and everything. But this is Dark Shores. Then we have a classic. I think it's from the 90s, 80s, 70s, 80s. I don't know, but my dad read this, so at least the 80s. This is the Dark Sword trilogy, the first Forging the Dark Sword, and I got the whole series in a library haul. If you've seen that video, I will link it, but this seems really interesting, and I don't think I've ever actually read a fantasy from like before the 2000s. I don't believe so. So I think this would be interesting and it could be fun. But then I also have A Dark and Hollow Star by Ashley Shuttleworth. I am so obsessed with this cover and I've had this book for years. But you know, it's thick. It's thick. This is, oh, that's so misleading. That's crazy. This is only 500 pages. 499 pages. That's crazy. Why are the pages so thick? This looks like it's like 700 pages. Anyway, this is a YA urban fantasy, I believe. I don't really know much else about it, but it seems really fun. And then the final option for dark in the title is The Darkness That Comes Before by R. Scott Baker. Oh, I'm so intrigued by this. I'm so intrigued. But it's like over 600 pages, and I know it gets really, really dark. So I think I'm leaning more towards this, also because I have the second book, and I got this recently because like friends that I've been talking to on Discord have really been hyping this up for me, and I am so intrigued, and I feel like I would love it, but like also have very strong opinions about it, which is great. I love critical thinking. um, but once again, we have 4 different options, and it's making it difficult to choose. It's between these two. This will definitely be a faster read, and I am kind of intrigued. Oh my goodness, why is this so difficult to just pick? Do I just flip a coin? Should I flip a coin? I did put this on my 25 and 2025 list, and I've barely made a dent in that. I've literally only read, I think, 1 of those books so far, so I'm gonna bite the bullet and go with this. Okay, okay, okay. Oh god, okay. The next class I need is psionics and divination, and the course focus for this is psychokinesis, and the prompt is book with witches or the occult. I wasn't the biggest fan of this prompt because that's not entirely the vibe that I'm going for, but then I did remember something that I've really been wanting to continue reading is the Gale Song saga or trilogy. So that is the Words of Kings and Prophets by Shauna Lawless. I read the first book a few months ago and I've really just been thinking about it a lot since then, and so I really want to continue with it. This is based in Ireland and it's like during a time of war between Ireland and England, but it's also steeped in Irish mythology, and that includes characters with magic and one that's kind of like a witch healer. I'm gonna count it as witch slash occult because it's like based in Irish mythology, and her one of the main characters is basically like a witch. So I'm going to choose this one and I am really excited for this. The next class I have is Restoration, And the course focus for this is Uncommon Antidotes, and the reading prompt is a book with 4+ star average rating. So, really putting the pedestal high. I use Storygraph for my book statistics, so I'm going to consult that really quick. But one of the books I really need to read in April is Parable of the Sower by Octavia E. Butler, because I chose this book for a book club that I'm part of in real life. This is the first book club I've ever had in real life. And so I chose this book because I honestly couldn't get into the previous picks for the books that other people picked. And so I suggested this one, and everyone loved the idea and the premise. And so this is something that I actually really want to read. So I'm very excited about this. And I'm just going to check the rating, but I think it's going to be the contender. So yes, this works. This has a 4.25 star rating. So I'm going to officially put this for that prompt. But other than that, I've really been eyeing Malice. I really want to start Malice, especially since I have the full series, and I'm not a binge reader. Like, I don't really binge series, but like, this gives me the perfect opportunity to do that. So I've really been thinking about that. I do really need to read Parable of the Sower, but I don't know, if I have some extra time, I might also add this. Though, I don't think I will. I don't think that is realistic for me. I'm just saying, I really want to read this. Finally, the last prompt I have is Demonology. The course focus for this is Banishing Basics, and the prompt is Book with a Missing Person. Now, I'm not the biggest fan of this prompt, I'm really not. I don't really know what books fit that prompt. All I can think of for sure is Crooked Kingdom by Leigh Bardugo, or Black Leopard Red Wolf. And I got this in the same book haul as I got this, and given the size, I don't think and how dark both of them really are, I don't know if I could do both of these in the same month. So I'm really not sure about this, and I genuinely just want to change the prompt for this. Another element of the readathon that G added last year was gaining points, which you can use, well, you could always like gain points, but now those points like mean something, that you can use them to buy certain abilities. And so I think an ability that I will buy from this is the ability to switch prompts. So another prompt I could change it with is shapeshifting, and this prompt is to have a dragon in the title, cover, or the story. I recently put on hold in my library app Dragonfall, which I think if it becomes available to me within April, then I will probably pick it up, also because it's an audiobook. So I think I might choose this. Or if not, another prompt that I really like is the inscription prompt, which is read the first sentence from 3 different books and pick the best one. And so I really am intrigued by this prompt in general. And so I think I want to randomly pick out titles. So I have all of the books that I own in here. So I think I'm gonna pick out 3 and then read those sentences and then pick from that. This is The Book of Dust by Philip Pullman. Nice. Seven Deadly Shadows. This is by Courtney Alameda and Valin E. Maitani. What is this? Oh, Curse of the Spectre Queen. Nice. Okay. I'm really intrigued by this one. So this is actually the start of a new series in his Golden Compass trilogy. So I haven't read those, but they are in my library, surprisingly. So do I? Shit. Anyways, let's read the first sentence for this anyways. Ooh. Illustration. Part 1, The Trout. 1. The Terrace Room. 3 miles up the River Thames from the centre of Oxford, some distance from where the great colleges of Jordan, Gabriel, Balliol, and 24 others contended for mastery in the boat races, out where the city was only a collection of towers and spires in the distance over the misty levels of Port Meadow, there stood the Priory of Godstow, where the gentle nuns went about their holy business, and on the opposite bank from the Priory there was an inn called the Trout. Not compelling enough. I'm sorry, Philip. That did not do it. 7 Deadly Shadows. I am a girl surrounded by monsters and ghosts from an ancient world. I like that. I like that. This is also standalone, so that's great. Curse of the Spectre Queen. This one sounds so cool. I literally wrote in here. That's crazy. Sounds like Indiana Jones and the Raven Boys. That's crazy. Chapter 1. Sam let the first door chime go unanswered, occupied as she was with the stack of delicate books cradled in her arms. Unfortunately, that's not the best first sentence. That's really not. Fuck. I think I would prefer picking that one up, but Seven Deadly Shadows definitely wins that challenge. So I'm choosing this based on that. Let's recap everything. So for the alchemy, oh shit. I realized I wrote that I already picked a book for this, which is What the River Knows by Isabel Ibanez. And I chose this because another part of the Year in Eldia challenge is that for the month of April, I need to pick a book with river in the title. So I think I will prioritize that one since it checks off another challenge instead of the Monster High pick. But I kind of really want to. That's unfortunate. But that is an audiobook, so I think I will get through that fairly quicker. So if I don't, then honestly, I think what I'll pick for this is All the Stars and Teeth. I think this one sounds the most interesting. So that's alchemy. And then the next one is Spells and Incantations, which is Word from Your Last Book title. And for this, I'm choosing The Darkness That Comes Before. Then Psionics and Divination, the book with witches or occult. I am choosing The Words of Kings and Prophets by Shauna Lawless. The next one is Restoration, the book with a 4+ star average rating. For this, I am choosing Parable of the Sower by Octavia E. Butler. Then I am switching the prompt for demonology of a book with a missing person into the first line prompt. And so for that, I chose Seven Deadly Shadows. Those are all of the books that I would have to complete for the Mindbender. If I also want to complete Rift Architect, there is the classes that overlap are the Psionics and Divination, the Witches or Occult, Sean Wallace, and the Spells and Incantations, which is Darkness Comes Before. Other classes also include Inscription, which is Best First Line, which I chose this. The two other classes that I would need are Astronomy and Conjuration. So Astronomy is the course focus is Lightfall, and the prompt is a color wheel. And then Conjuration, the focus is Locational Summons, and the prompt is Random Country Generator 5 times to pick the author from that country. These are really interesting, so I'm going to pull those up. So first I'm going to do the color wheel, and I'm just going to shuffle the colors real quick. Okay, so green. Oh goodness, what do I have that's green? Okay, in terms of my physical shelf, I only really have this, Curse of the Spectre Queen, or I don't know if you would really count this, but the Emperor's Blades. This is kind of more, oh, well, it's kind of more yellow. Yeah, it's like a very light green highlight, more yellow. I don't know. Like, I don't know. I don't think that this would really count. But this is kind of the only option I have physically. But other than that, I think I might just like double up and use What the River Knows for this because of all of the green around that. Or I might go with the third book in the Tensorit series by Neon Yang, and this is a series of novellas, and it's called The Descent of Monsters. I don't know if that's focused, I apologize, but this has green all up on the cover. I might choose that because I really want to continue with the series, and it is a short novella. So that would be the pick for green. Now let's go on to the random country generator. I am nervous about this one, but I think this will be pretty fun. So we have to do this 5 times. Okay. Random country. Tuvalu. I have no idea where that is. Where is that? Tuvalu? Where is that? Oh, next to Samoa. I've never heard of that before. Okay. Next. Mauritius. Interesting. And that is next to Madagascar. Very fun. I was literally just watching Madagascar last night. Okay, next. Burkina Faso. Interesting. This is in Africa. Number 3, Latvia. Okay, I know where that is. I've been there. Okay, right above Lithuania. Next, Venezuela. Okay, is that number 5? Interestingly enough, I did find some options about books that I was interested in reading from an author from Burkina Faso. And because I've recently been learning more about, world history and revolutionary movements and stuff like that. And so I've recently heard of Thomas Sankara, who was a leader who became a leader in Burkina Faso, and he was called the African Che Guevara. And so I'm interested actually to learn more about that. So I have like a couple options of some nonfictions that I would like to maybe pick up for this. The first option I'm interested in is Women's Liberation and the African Freedom Struggle, which is by Thomas Sankara himself. So that would be really interesting, and it's really short. Other than that, I think this one sounds cool, Burkina Faso, A History of Power, Protest, and Revolution. This one is a bit longer, but, and I would prefer to have an audiobook, but I cannot find these as audiobook. And there are a bunch of other options, possibly this one or this one. A lot of them mostly just talk about Thomas Sankara. And I do love a good, oh, what is this? I do love a good nonfiction. So, this is quite an ambitious TBR, but well, of course it is. Of course it is. It is the magical readathon. So, recap for everything that I will mostly be focusing on the prompts for the Mindmender. Those are my priorities for the Mindmender. 3 of those overlap for Rift Architect: Seven Deadly Shadows, The Darkness That Comes Before, and The Words of Kings and Prophets. And if I do have extra time to read more, then I will also pick up the color wheel pick, which was green, which would be The Descent of Monsters. And the final one would be Conjuration, the random country generator. I would pick up a nonfiction from an author from Burkina Faso. And another hopeful that I will see if I can get to it this month is Dragonfall. Other than that, don't be surprised if some of these switch up in my April wrap-up. I have been so excited to film this and to pick out these books and to actually start reading them. That concludes my April TBR for the Magical Readathon. Let me know if you are joining and what your calling is for this year. So these are my physical books tentatively, and I'm also would like to let you know that I am 200 pages in to the Wave Kings. I'm finally making my way through. This is 200 pages of 1,200 pages. So, only 1,000 more pages to go. This is only like 15% of the way in. If you are participating, let me know what your calling is. I am a Mindmender and possibly going to be a novice in as a Rift Architect this year. We'll see. If you are not participating, just let me know what you are reading this month, or leave a butterfly emoji for the Seven Deadly Shadows. These little butterfly. Oh, these are moths. Oh, nice. I hope you have an amazing reading month, an amazing April. I hope the sun starts shining. Like this video if you'd like, subscribe if you want to come back and hear about what I think about all of these books in my wrap-ups. And other than that, I hope you have a great day. Happy reading.